Of the Coach's Corner. We're here with Coach JP Immelman from the Falker this morning. Coach JP, welcome to another quick chat. We are going into the final round of the SA Cup. A lot on the line for you guys this weekend, outside of your control, obviously, with Boland playing Eastern Province this weekend, and obviously Griffins playing the Pumas. So yeah, there's still a chance for you guys to obviously qualify for the Currie Cup Premiership division, but obviously, like I said, some things might have to happen for you guys to get through. So yeah, I assume you guys are looking forward to the last game against Border Bulldogs, which does put a bit of pressure off you guys. They've not been great this season, but yeah, I mean, how's things in the camp? You guys are obviously quite optimistic and hoping for some stuff to go your way this weekend.
Yeah, Renaldo, thank you very much again for the opportunity. Yeah, I think you said it all. You know, it's there's obviously I almost want to say there's not disappointment, there's excitement, but disappointment in the fact that it's not in our hands completely anymore. You're relying on other teams doing you a favor. It's never it's never ideal because you can't control that. But no, look, our focus is first things first. Yes, Border hasn't been great from a results perspective, but if you look at the two games that they played against the Boland and against EP in East London, you know, there were patches where they were really good. So our focus is on us and our processes and how we approach the game. We've got great respect for Border, always has. You know, so we going through our processes and we focusing on what we need to do first, and then the rest, yeah, the cards have to fall for us to get through. Obviously, we'll see how things go at around 5 o'clock-ish. I think on Saturday we'll know what's happening.
Coach JP, I just had a chat with Coach Jimmy Stonehouse just about the SA Cup and how this competition actually grew over the last couple of games. And I mean, if you look at the competition coming down to the last round, and you still have 7 teams to obviously try and get into the top 4 for the Currie Cup Premiership, and then obviously also for the playoffs. I think a lot of emphasis goes into qualifying for the Currie Cup, and people forget that there's still a semi-final to be played next week. But yeah, the competition looks like it's a healthy competition, just needs more exposure, more TV time, and getting more people behind the competition. If you look at this weekend's game where Boland and the Pumas played down in Wellington, a lot of people came to support, and it was a great game to watch. But it also shows, if you look at that last try that Boland scored, if they didn't score that try, things would have been a lot different. So it just shows you how important each of the points is in each of the games. So it does look like a very healthy competition.
Yeah, Ronaldo, I think it's testimony to the strength of our domestic game, and I mean, again, you hitting the nail on the head, and you know, obviously Jimmy has been around for a long time in at different levels, and he knows best, or you know, I think the domestic it showed last year. It was a bit of a finding our feet again. In the sort of the domestic exposure against the Pumas, the Griquas, Griffins, and Cheetahs. A lot of us non-franchises took big points against us in those games, but you know, the teams that adapted, and where the players adapted and to the speed and the physicality at that level. This year is testimony to, you know, Boland, Falke, EP, you know, stepped it up, and it's not just walkovers against the non-franchises, and I think it's a really, you know, we need, apart from the Currie Cup, where that's obviously our pride and joy in South Africa, and it should be. You know, there's a lot more domestic talent, and I think the SA Cup proved that this year with the right exposure, with the right support to the non-franchises, and getting things as good as we can afford and as good as we can manage things in our control. There's definitely the players. We've got the players in South Africa. I mean, we've got abundant talent all over the country. If you manage and put the high performance bits in place that you can afford in your area, in your union, we can compete. I mean, we've shown it. Boland have shown it. EP have shown it. You know, so it's there. It's there to be developed.
Then it comes to my next question. Is this not becoming a bit of a problem when you have the teams on the fringes like yourselves, Boland, Griffins, all of those guys coming to play? They're all excited. Now you don't qualify for the Currie Cup, and then everyone is disappointed. And it puts you back a couple of steps when it comes to sponsorships, TV time, and then that whole cycle needs to basically be rebuilt the next season. Instead of that, if we can have something in place where teams can continue to build a squad of players that gets more exposure, that gets more development into place, because obviously if a team does not qualify for the Currie Cup, it does make it really hard for you guys, because now those players automatically obviously start looking for other opportunities either overseas or maybe going to the likes of the Pumas or the Boland. So I mean, it becomes a massive problem. I mean, Matt Proudfoot obviously been fired this week at the Leopards. And I said this to Jimmy as well. I mean, it's easy to kind of build your own perspective from the outside, but I think it's very challenging for the smaller unions to build a squad if you don't have the finances, and to continue to do it over year, because it does, at the end of the day, kind of fall flat on its head if there's no big competition to play in, and also no big competition to obviously take sponsors towards and say, guys, we are playing in the Currie Cup. So, I mean, is that probably the biggest concern and challenges for you guys at the moment?
Yeah, Ronaldo, definitely. It definitely is. I think any sponsor that comes on board, either because they invested in the community game or the local, it's a local company, and they get most of their business from the local community, or they get on board because of the exposure, because of the marketing exposure that they get. And if you look at how competitive the Currie Cup First Division was last year in fighting for top 4 in that competition, I think it's worth getting broadcasting rights somewhere, or exposure rights somewhere for that competition as well. I mean, there's exciting rugby being played there. It should be your players that should step up from there, together with Varsity Cup into the Premier Division, whether it's players by themselves or the team that gets promoted. Yeah. So exposure, broadcasting, platforms like this with thousands of followers, and that's what it's about. That's what sponsors want, to invest in teams to try and make it to the top level. Look, I mean, the other, and maybe I'm putting my foot in something here, but the other narrative and other discussions that's being had all over the place or over a beer is a 14-team Currie Cup again, or 14 province Currie Cup again. But for a for that to happen, again, funding becomes, because how do you play it? Do you play it in 2 pools? Do you play all 14 against each other in a single round? That means 13 matches versus 7 matches in the Premier Division and 5 matches in the First Division. So it all comes down to cost, traveling cost, accommodation cost, hosting costs. So it, unfortunately, that is the main drive for us. Like I said in the previous one, is what you mentioned: building squads, building teams. And the only way to do that is to be able to contract players for 12 months. That it's the only way you're going to build continuity. We've been lucky to keep the core of our team together, or get them back year on year over the past 2 to 3 years. They go home for 3-4 months. And then we've been able to get them back, and then build new players around them. That's been a big help for us. But it's not always possible. We've also, like you said, we've lost some very talented and influential players in our group, 3, 4, 5 guys every year that we would have liked to have back, but we couldn't. They either went overseas or they went into permanent other employment.
Yeah. Coach JP, last game this weekend. What are you guys expecting from Border? Like you said earlier, there was some glimpses of talent, but not much to obviously go on with the high scoring that they've received. But still a competitive game that has to be played this weekend.
Look, Border is always tough. They're physical at the moment. They've got nothing to lose. They can come out all guns blazing, no reservations, just play their game. There's the games we've been watching and having a look at. There's been real, good glimpses. They're always exciting from an attacking perspective. Defensively, they're quite good in their own 22. The teams had to score more tries because they don't give easy line breaks and go forward in their own 22. So we're gonna have to be sharp. We, like I said, we preparing like we would for any other game. We need to be up for it if we want to come away with a 5 points.
Well, Coach JP, thanks for a quick chat again today. I know you guys obviously need to go and prepare now, and you guys have some meetings. So good luck for this weekend. Hopefully we can sit here next week and things went your way for the Falca. But we'll still continue to chat and see how we can obviously help you guys get a bit more exposure out there for the smaller unions. I'm quite passionate. I know it's something that needs to be done. So good luck this weekend, and congratulations to what you guys have achieved this season to be in the contention for the Currie Cup. I don't know when last the Falca played in a Premiership Currie Cup, but you guys are obviously putting your hand up, and there's a big chance for you guys. So we're holding thumbs for you guys, and we'll be definitely looking closely at the results this weekend.
Thank you very much, Renaldo. Appreciate that. We'll, the destiny will take care of itself.
100%. Thank